なぜ、たった一度の行動がナルシシストを恐れさせるのか？彼はあなたを支配できると思っていた。でも、あなたがある一度の行動をした瞬間、彼は心の奥底で恐怖に震え始める。多くの人はナルシシストに翻弄されます。彼らの冷たい無視、甘い操作、そして罪悪感を利用する巧妙な戦術に。しかしユング心理学が示すのは、たった一度の行動が、その支配の構造を永遠に崩すということです。ナルシシストは表面的には強そうに見えます。しかし彼らの心の奥には、壊れやすい、未熟な自我が潜んでいます。他人からの承認がないと不安になる。自分の価値を常に外の世界に移そうとする。支配できない相手の前では無力になる。つまり彼らが最も恐れているのは、自分の影を直視させられることなのです。ユングはこう語りました。人は自分の影を受け入れない限り、無意識に支配され続ける。ナルシシストは影を受け入れるどころか、他人に投影します。自分の弱さを相手に押し付ける。自分の不安を相手のせいにする。自分の欠落を相手の存在で補おうとする。だからこそ、相手がその投影を拒否した瞬間、彼らはコントロールを失い、恐怖に直面するのです。では、その一度の行動とは何か？それは、沈黙と距離によって彼の支配を拒むことです。彼が挑発しても反応しない。彼が操作しても乗らない。彼の期待を裏切っても自分を裏切らない。この姿勢はナルシシストにとって最大の脅威になります。なぜなら彼らは相手の反応に依存して生きているからです。ある女性は長年ナルシシストのパートナーに苦しめられていました。彼は冷たい無視と優しい言葉を繰り返し、彼女を操作していた。しかしある日、彼女は静かに距離を取り、彼の言葉に一切反応しなくなった。すると、彼の態度は一変しました。怒り、混乱し、そして最終的には恐れを抱いたのです。なぜか？彼女が、もう彼を鏡として映さない存在になったからです。ここであなたに問います。あなたは誰かの支配に無意識で反応していませんか？本当は自分を守る力を持っているのに、それを眠らせていませんか？ユング心理学は言います。意識化された行動は無意識の操作を無効化する。無視に反応しない。操作に巻き込まれない。自分を裏切らずに境界線を引く。それだけでナルシシストはあなたを恐れ、二度と同じように扱えなくなるのです。今日の話を聞いて、私はもう支配に反応しないと決意した方は、ぜひコメント欄に私は沈黙を選ぶと書いてください。次のブロックではさらに深く釣りします。なぜ沈黙と距離がナルシシストの最大の弱点になるのか？忘れないように高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜ沈黙と距離がナルシシストの最大の弱点になるのか？彼は言葉であなたを支配しようとする。でも、あなたが沈黙を選んだ瞬間、彼は力を失う。ナルシシストが最も恐れているのは、実は攻撃や拒絶ではありません。彼らの最大の弱点は沈黙と距離なのです。ナルシシストは他人からの反応に依存しています。褒められることで優越感を得る。怒られることで存在感を確かめる。同情されることで自己像を守る。つまり、相手が何らかの反応を示すことで、彼らの脆い自我は維持されるのです。だから、あなたが沈黙し、距離を置くと、彼らは自分が存在しないかのような恐怖を感じるのです。ユングはこう言いました。無意識に従う者は無意識に支配される。ナルシシストの行動はまさに無意識の影によるものです。彼らは自分の影を認めず、 それを相手に投影する。そして相手がその投影に反応することで安心を得る。しかし、あなたが沈黙と距離を保った瞬間、彼らは自分の影と直面せざるを得なくなるのです。ある男性は恋人を常にコントロールしようとしていました。彼は怒鳴り、冷たくし、時に優しくして揺さぶる。しかし、彼女が突然、沈黙と距離を選んだ時、状況は一変しました。彼は苛立ち、電話を繰り返し、メッセージを送り続けた。だが彼女は一切反応しなかった。その時、彼は初めて自分の影を突きつけられたのです。彼女がいないと僕は誰でもない。ここであなたに問いましょう。あなたは彼の言葉や態度に無意識で反応していませんか？本当は沈黙と距離で答えるべき場面で説明や弁解をしていませんか？ユング心理学が示すのは、沈黙は最大の自己防衛であり、同時に最大の力だということです。投影を断ち切る。彼の影を受け取らない。支配を崩す。反応がなければ、コントロールは成立しない。自己を守る。自分の価値を相手の態度に委ねない。ユングはこうも語りました。沈黙は言葉よりも雄弁に真実を語る。ナルシシストにとって沈黙はただの拒絶ではなく、あなたの支配はもう効かないというメッセージなのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は沈黙を選ぶ力を持っていると感じた方は、ぜひコメント欄に沈黙の力と書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜナルシシストは自由を選んだ女性を恐れるのか？忘れないように高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜナルシシストは自由を選んだ女性を恐れるのか？彼はあなたを支配できると思っていた。でも、あなたが自由を選んだ瞬間、彼の心は揺らぎ、恐れ始める。ナルシシストが一番恐れているのは、あなたが彼を憎むことではありません。それは、あなたが彼なしでも生きられるという自由を選ぶことなのです。ナルシシストは常に相手を自分に依存させようとします。君は僕がいないと幸せになれない。君を理解できるのは僕だけだ。君は僕に必要とされている。こうした言葉や態度で相手の心に彼なしでは生きられないという幻想を植え付ける。しかし、それは虚構です。あなたが一歩踏み出し、彼から自由になると、その幻想は音を立てて崩れていくのです。ユングはこう語りました。人は他者を支配するとき、自分の未熟さから逃げている。ナルシシストの支配は、彼自身の影から生まれます。彼の内面には、捨てられる恐怖、価値がないという不安が潜んでいる。だからこそ、相手を縛ることで安心を得ようとするのです。しかし、あなたが自由を選んだ瞬間、彼はその影に直面させられるのです。ある女性は、長年ナルシシストの恋人に縛られていました。彼は優しさと冷たさを使い分け、彼女を混乱させ続けていた。しかし、彼女はある日こう決断したのです。私はもう、私の人生を彼に委ねない。彼女が自由を選んだ時、彼は怒り狂い、必死に彼女を取り戻そうとした。でもその裏にあったのは、恐怖でした。彼女がいなくなったら、僕の存在は崩れてしまう。ここであなたに問いましょう。あなたは今、誰かの支配に自分を差し出していませんか？本当は自由を選べるのに、恐れから立ち止まってはいませんか？ユング心理学は教えます。自由を選ぶ行為こそ、無意識の操作を無効化する唯一の道である。支配の無力化。あなたが彼を必要としないと知ったとき、彼の力は崩れる。影の直視。彼は自分には価値がないという恐怖に直面する。 存在の崩壊。あなたが自由を選んだ瞬間、彼は鏡を失う。ユングはこう言いました。自由を選ぶとき、人は無意識の支配から解放される。あなたが選ぶ自由は、彼にとって最大の恐怖。そして同時に、あなたにとって最大の力なのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は自由を選ぶと決意した方は、ぜひコメント欄に、私は自由を選ぶと書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜ境界線がナルシシストを無力化するのか？忘れないように高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜ境界線がナルシシストを無力化するのか？あなたがノーと言った瞬間、彼は内心で震え上がる。ナルシシストが最も嫌うのは、あなたの怒りではなく、あなたの境界線です。境界線とは、ここから先は私の領域という明確な線引き。それは心理的にも、感情的にも、行動的にも存在します。彼が怒鳴っても、あなたは冷静に、それは受け入れないと伝える。彼が無視をしても、私は私の価値を疑わないと決める。彼が操作を仕掛けても、私は私を裏切らないと選ぶ。ユングはこう言いました。自由を選ぶとき、人は無意識の支配から解放される。あなたが選ぶ自由は、彼にとって最大の恐怖。そして同時に、あなたにとって最大の力なのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は自由を選ぶと決意した方は、ぜひコメント欄に、私は自由を選ぶと書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜ境界線がナルシシストを無力化するのか？忘れないように高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜ境界線がナルシシストを無力化するのか？あなたがノーと言った瞬間、彼は内心で震え上がる。ナルシシストが最も嫌うのは、あなたの怒りではなく、あなたの境界線です。境界線とは、ここから先は私の領域という明確な線引き。それは心理的にも、感情的にも、行動的にも存在します。彼が怒鳴っても、あなたは冷静に、それは受け入れないと伝える。彼が無視をしても、私は私の価値を疑わないと決める。彼が操作を仕掛けても、私は私を裏切らないと選ぶ。この態度は、ナルシシストにとって支配が効かないサインになります。ナルシシストは、相手の反応や弱さを利用して支配します。しかし境界線を持つ人は、その反応を与えない。罪悪感で縛れない。無視しても動じない。甘い言葉でも揺さぶれない。この瞬間、ナルシシストは無力さを突きつけられるのです。ユングはこう語りました。人は自分の影を受け入れるまで他者にそれを投影し続ける。ナルシシストが相手を操作できるのは相手がその投影を受け取るから。しかし境界線を引いた瞬間、あなたは私はあなたの影を背負わないと宣言することになる。それこそが彼を最も恐れさせるのです。ある女性は長年ナルシシストの夫に苦しんでいました。彼は怒りと冷たさを使い分け、常に彼女を罪悪感で縛ろうとした。しかし、彼女はある日こう言ったのです。私はもう、あなたの機嫌で生きない。その一言に彼は動揺し、言葉を失いました。境界線を引かれた瞬間、彼の支配は崩れたのです。ここであなたに問いましょう。あなたは他人の影を背負っていませんか？相手の感情を自分の責任だと錯覚していませんか？もしそうなら、それはあなたの自由を奪う原因です。境界線は冷たさではなく、自己を守る愛なのです。支配を無効化する。操作が効かなくなる。自己価値を守る。他人の言葉で自分を定義しない。自由を取り戻す。相手の影ではなく、 自分の光を生きられる。ユングは言いました。他者を救うことはできない。しかし、自分を守ることはできる。境界線は、あなたがあなたであるための唯一の道です。そしてそれこそが、ナルシシストを恐れさせる武器なのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は境界線を持つ、と決意した方は、ぜひコメント欄に、私は私を守る、と書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜ自己需要がナルシシストを最も遠ざける力になるのか？忘れないように、高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜ自己需要がナルシシストを最も遠ざける力になるのか？彼はあなたの不安を利用しようとする。でも、あなたが自己需要を選んだ瞬間、彼はもう近づけなくなる。ナルシシストは相手の弱さを餌にします。しかし、あなたが自分を受け入れたとき、その餌は消え、彼らの支配は無力化するのです。ナルシシストは常にこう狙います。あなたは足りない、と信じ込ませる。あなたには私が必要だ、とすり込む。あなたの価値は私が決める、と振る舞う。その結果、相手は自分を疑い、自分の声を失っていきます。でも、ここに一つの逆転の鍵があります。自己需要こそが彼らの最大の恐怖なのです。ユングはこう言いました。人は自分の影を受け入れたとき、初めて自由になる。自己需要とは、自分の影を否定せず、これも私だ、と認めること。不安がある私。弱さを抱えた私。失敗をした私。それでも、私は価値がある、と受け入れたとき、ナルシシストの操作は効かなくなります。ある女性は、ナルシシストの恋人にこう言われ続けました。君は十分じゃない。君は僕がいなければ生きていけない。彼女は長い間それを信じていました。しかしセラピーと自己探求を通して、彼女はこう気づきました。私は弱さを持っていても価値がある。その瞬間、彼の言葉は力を失った。彼女が自己需要を手にしたとき、彼はもう彼女を操作できなかったのです。ここであなたに問います。あなたはまだ他人の承認で自分の価値を測っていませんか？それとも、私は私で十分だ、と認める準備ができていますか？ナルシシストは、あなたが自分を疑う限り強く見える。しかしあなたが自己受容した瞬間、彼らは恐れ、距離を取るのです。操作を無効化する。君は足りない、という言葉が響かなくなる。依存を断ち切る。他人の承認なしで価値を感じられる。自由を取り戻す。相手に支配されず、自分の中心に立てる。ユングはこう語りました。人は自己を受け入れたとき、他者の影響から最も自由になる。ナルシシストが本当に恐れているのは、あなたが、私は十分だ、と言い切ることなのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は自分を受け入れる、と思った方は、ぜひコメント欄に、私は十分だ、と書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜ自己愛がナルシシストの支配を完全に壊すのか？忘れないように、高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜ自己愛がナルシシストの支配を完全に壊すのか？彼はあなたの愛されたい気持ちを利用する。でも、あなたが自己愛を手にした瞬間、その支配は完全に壊れる。ナルシシストは他者の愛への渇望を餌にします。しかし、自分を深く愛せる人の前では、その戦術は一切通用しないのです。ナルシシストは、相手の承認欲求を狙います。私に必要とされたい。愛されたい。見捨てられたくない。この気持ちを巧みに操作することで、相手を縛り付けます。でも、もしあなたが 私は私を愛していると心から言えるなら、その瞬間、彼の言葉や態度は力を失うのです。ユングはこう語りました。他者からの愛を受け取るには、まず自己愛が必要である。自己愛とはナルシシズムではありません。それは自分の存在を肯定し、価値を与える力。自分の弱さも含めて愛する。他人に認められなくても自分を認める。自分を裏切らない。この姿勢はナルシシストにとって最大の脅威になります。ある女性はナルシシストの恋人にこう言われ続けました。君は僕がいなければ価値がない。君は僕の承認がないと何もできない。しかし彼女は自己愛を育てました。日記を書き、自分を褒め、自分の感情を大切にする。やがて彼女はこう言えるようになったのです。私は私を愛している。だから、あなたがどう思おうと私は価値がある。その瞬間、彼の支配は音を立てて崩れ落ちました。ここであなたに問います。あなたは他人の愛がなければ価値を感じられないと思っていませんか？それとも、私は私を愛すると宣言できますか？ナルシシストは、あなたが自分を疑っている限り支配できる。しかし自己愛を持った瞬間、彼らは近づけなくなるのです。支配の崩壊。君は足りないという言葉が響かなくなる。自由の獲得。他人に左右されず、自分の価値を自分で決められる。愛の再定義。愛されることではなく、愛することから関係を築ける。ユングは言いました。愛とは、まず自己と出会うことで始まる。だからこそ自己愛を持つ女性は、ナルシシストにとって最も恐ろしい存在なのです。今日の話を聞いて、私は私を愛すると決意した方は、ぜひコメント欄に、私は私を愛すると書いてください。次のブロックではさらに掘り下げます。なぜナルシシストは、影を統合した人の前で無力になるのか？忘れないように、高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。なぜナルシシストは影を統合した人の前で無力になるのか？彼は他人の弱さを利用して生きている。でも、あなたが影を統合した瞬間、彼は一切の力を失う。ナルシシストが最も恐れる相手は、強がる人でも戦う人でもありません。それは自分の影を受け入れ、統合した人なのです。ユング心理学でいう影とは、私たちが避け、隠し、否定してきた部分。怒り、嫉妬、弱さ、劣等感。多くの人はこれを隠そうとします。しかし、影を統合するとは、これも私の一部だと受け入れ、光と影を統合することです。ナルシシストは、他人が影を隠す心理を利用します。相手が弱さを見せたくないと思っているとき、それを責める。相手が劣等感を持っていると知ったとき、そこを刺激する。相手が認められたいと思うとき、その欲求を操る。しかし、影を統合した人の前では、この仕組みは機能しません。なぜなら、彼らが投げかける恥や罪悪感が届かないからです。ある女性は、長年ナルシシストに、訓はかけていると言われ続けていました。しかし、自己探求を通して彼女は気づいたのです。私は欠けている。でも、それが私の一部であり、美しさでもある。その瞬間、彼の言葉は彼女を傷つけなくなりました。逆に彼の方が不安になり、彼女を恐れるようになったのです。ここであなたに問いましょう。あなたは自分の影を否定していませんか？それとも、影を抱きしめて、これも私だ、と言えますか？ナルシシストは、あなたが影を否定している限り強く見えます。でも、あなたが影を統合した瞬間、 彼らは攻撃の道具を失うのです。操作を無効化する。恥や劣等感で揺さぶられなくなる。自己の中心に立つ。他人の評価で揺れない。存在そのものの強さ。私は私であるという確信が魅力を放つ。ユングはこう言いました。人は影を統合したとき、初めて真の自己として立てる。ナルシシストが恐れるのは強い人ではなく統合された人。なぜなら彼らの支配が一切効かないからです。今日の話を聞いて私は影を抱きしめたいと思った方は、ぜひコメント欄に私は影を統合すると書いてください。次のブロックでは最終章。なぜ自己統合した存在はナルシシストにとって永遠の恐怖となるのかを掘り下げます。忘れないように高評価とチャンネル登録をお願いします。
Now, you can't take the action journey of no money to plenty of money instantly. No one can. But you can take the emotional journey from fear of where you are financially to more confidence of where you are financially within a matter of minutes. And when you begin to understand that taking the emotional journey is all that is required for you to begin practicing the art of allowing what you want, then you will discover that this creative endeavor has never been about action, and it's never been about words. It's never been about talking your way into something more that you are wanting. It's never been about acting your way into a better position. It's never been about the college degree. It's never been about landing the perfect job. It's never been about the inheritance. It's never been about finding the perfect mate. It's never been about those things that you think it is about. It has only ever been about finding a way right here, right now, to feel good about who I am and where I am. You were born adoring you. That's why you sort of said to everyone, here I am, treat me good. And if you had just been able to remember that everybody else was doing exactly the same thing, then you wouldn't have expected them to stand on their head to make your world perfect. Although we have to tell you, the entire universe stands on its head to make your world perfect. Every time you ask for anything, no matter how great or small it seems to you or anyone else, it is always given. Every subtle preference or every raging desire, universal forces are lining up circumstances and events to give it to you every single time, no exceptions. So you say, then where is my stuff? And we say it is being held in escrow for you, waiting for the moment that you align with it. And as long as you're saying, where is my stuff? I see that it's gone. I cannot find it anywhere. I've expected it, but it's not here. My neighbor is getting it. My mother is getting it. My children are getting it. Everybody's getting it, but it's not coming to me. Where is it? I demand to know where it is. We say in your keen awareness that it's not there with you, it cannot come there with you. You might want to start softening those words. You might want to begin taking an emotional journey. Now here's the key. Taking the emotional journey not because you're trying to get the stuff. The emotional journey because it feels better not to worry about not having the stuff than it does to worry about not having the stuff. The emotional journey because it feels better to anticipate things improving than it does to worry about things not getting better. The emotional journey because it feels good to love and it feels awful to hate. The emotional journey because it feels better now. So yes, we do teach selfishness. Because if you are not selfish enough that you care about how you feel now, right now, where all of your power is now. Not later, not once the house sells, not once you find a better one, not once your lover cleans up his act, not once people start catering you better, not once your job improves, not once they start appreciating you more. Right now where you have all the power. You have the power to tweak your thought process to make you feel better now. And until you decide that that is the work, then you don't understand art of allowing. art of allowing yourself to be in vibrational alignment with the well-being that you deserve. Now you know everything that is important. There isn't anything else that we could ever say to you that would be more important to you than recognizing that you hold the key now to opening the vibrational vortex to allow the emotional journey that will make you feel better now. And when you feel better now, consistently, doors open, circumstances change, and the world caters to you in a way that few of you have realized yet. And those who watch say, who decided that you were the blessed one? Who anointed you king of the world? How is it that you have only to softly give a thought of preference, and next time you turn around, there is an avenue through which it can be fulfilled? And you say, oh, haven't you heard? I am the blessed one. Haven't you heard? I am the center of the universe. Haven't you heard? I only have to ask and then not get in my own way. And it happens to me every single time. So, when you hook into the idea of well-being consciously, that's when things really begin to rip for you in a powerful way. When you say nothing is more important than that I feel good, then you always know whether you are facing in the direction of the outcome that you are wanting or whether you have made a turnabout. It does not matter where you have been. The relationship between where you are and where you want to be is important, but where you have been is irrelevant. But when you, in your physical environment, keep talking about where you've been, you keep holding yourself where you've been. So now where you've been and where you are keep turning out to be the same place. When possible, try to find a thought that feels better. Because when you find a thought that feels better, you are back on your course, you say. It's an interesting thing. We watch many of you who are coming more into your conscious awareness of your own vibrational alignment. And there's almost a feeling of resentment when you find other people around you that are making sort of shock waves in your vibration. It's sort of like what you're wanting to say to them is either go away and be a non-vibrating issue in my energy field, or get it right. And neither one of those things can happen as long as you've got your eye on them. In other words, you sort of hold to you the very thing that you are not want. They and what they think have to become a real non-issue to you. And so you can do that. Have you ever been around someone who, maybe it was a child, who was making up a complete fantasy, an absolute fabrication about something, and you didn't really think that they were going to get a unicorn and jump over the moon on it, but they're talking to you about it. And so you just smile and say, that's nice. And you don't try to dash their dreams. You don't try to set them straight. You're willing to let them have their fantasy while you go about whatever you are doing. Well, what you're going to want to do with these people that are trying to hook into your fantasies or your dreams is sort of think about them in the same way that you would that child. Just say, well, that's nice. Don't let what they think be so important to you. Now, how do you go about that? You go about that by letting what you think be the thing that is most important to you. And you say, well, that's sort of how I got here. I want to feel good. They're sort of in there not making me feel good. Why don't they mind their own business and go dream their own dream and leave me in a place where things can sort of level out? And we want to say to you, powerful creators like yourself will always have others who are sort of following the jet stream. It's just the way that it always is. And it's time for you, sooner than later, to become comfortable with whatever they do in relationship to you. And that really is something that you very much want to teach and you very much want to understand is how can I maintain my own vibrational frequency regardless of what anybody else is doing around it? Because the thing that you're wanting to teach, the thing that really needs to be taught, it would benefit anyone who learned it, is Don't ask circumstances to change in order for you to feel good. And so in the same way that you're wanting to not need them to be different in order for you to feel good. We know sometimes very well-meaning people can just make you nuts. And there is this desire to please them that is at the root of you letting that happen. When you release your desire to please them, and first of all, what's behind a desire to please them? Well, it feels good to please them. And it doesn't feel good not to please them. It got started a long time ago. But what's at the root of needing to please someone else is you tried, not just you, almost everyone, you tried to fill the void of your not connection to your inner being by pleasing someone else who could shine a little approval or appreciation on you. In other words, it was sort of a flawed substitute for true connection. And now it's sort of a vicious circle because you're in that habit of trying to please them because it has paid off in some ways in the past. But in trying to please them, you are at the same time sometimes not able to please yourself. We sort of dabbled on this topic earlier, and let's go back to it because it's really an important topic. And it is the topic of how can I feel so good about who I am that it's all right with me, even if somebody's looking at me and they're not approving of who I am. That's ultimate worthiness, isn't it? I like me so much that it no longer matters to me how you feel about me, which means now I'm free from standing on my head to get your approval. But the big payoff is when you really feel that free and you really feel that worthy, you're delicious to be with. And everybody who's with you benefits. And you can feel it's just that slight tweaking that you're waiting to get into place. So how do you go about it from where you are? Do you say, buzz off and leave me alone? Well, how does that feel? Now, let's talk about this emotional scale. We've been trying to encourage people to reach for the thought that feels a little better. And so when you in your mind, imagine saying something to someone, you can feel whether it's moving you closer to where you want to be or further from where you want to be. So that's the rule of thumb that we would use. In other words, telling them to go away and leave you alone takes you this way on the emotional scale, not this way. Telling them that they're pressuring you takes you this way, not this way. Feeling angry at them for rooting for you takes you this way, not this way. And so anything that you think of that you might say or do to them relative to this subject takes you in the wrong way on the emotional scale, doesn't it? And so then you say, oh, it must not be about them. It must be about me. These emotions that I'm having must be about how I feel about this. In other words, maybe they're just helping through their attention to shine a spotlight on my awareness that I'm not lined up with what I want. That's where your true irritation is coming from, isn't it? In other words, they're just reminding me that I'm not doing what I'm saying I want to do. And so then I'm saying, well, that's because I want the universe to give it to me. And we want to say to you, you're not going to like it very much, but we love saying this to you. If you were in alignment with your dream, the universe would be giving it to you right now. But it's all right for your dream to be an expanding dream. And that's the hard part about co-creating. When you co-create with others, sometimes every time you co-create with someone else, the things that they want get vibrationally factored in. And so it's very important, especially when you are co-creating, that you continue to talk to yourself about what is important to you so that what is important to you becomes the dominant vibration. So now we're going to tell you what's bothering you about all of this. You have not yet, and you're not alone in this, given yourself permission to let what you want be your dominant vibration. Mothers have that a lot. They care so much more about how their children feel than about how they feel. But it happens with everyone. In other words, it's this thing where you care so much about somebody else's well-being. We were visiting with a woman recently who is living in a place that she is really not very happy. She bought a condominium, and there are all kinds of rules and restrictions that were not completely appealing to her. And she moved in before she'd really thought it all through. But the excuse she's using to leave a place she doesn't really want to be is that the rule says the cat has to stay indoors all the time. And so as we chatted with her, it became clear that she cares more about serving the cat's desires than she does about serving her own. Because if it were not for the cat, she'd put up with it. But because the cat wants it differently. And what we are suggesting is that a lot of you are that way, where you'll do things for others that you will not do for yourself. And that's really what this is all about. You have to get selfish enough that you care really, really keenly about how you feel. And when you do, everything else will take care of itself.
How I feel right now matters so much. How I feel right now matters so much because how I feel right now is about what I'm emanating, and what I'm emanating equals what I'm getting back. And so how I feel is really the only thing that really matters. How you feel in any moment in time is the only thing that really matters. Most humans don't know they have control over that, because most humans, we love you so much, you are conditional in your now. The way you feel right now has so much to do with conditions that you are living, that you are comparing one to another, that you are remembering, that you are regurgitating, that you are emphasizing, sometimes unnecessarily, that you are exaggerating. You do. You exaggerate things to make points with others who don't get it. That's the thing that trips you up the most, you know. You're so determined that you're going to get somebody else to see from your point of view that you talk really a lot about what your point of view is, even if it doesn't serve you. Even if your point of view does not equal what you want. Oh, I had this terrible experience. Let me tell you about it. And in the telling you about it, let me practice the vibration of it so that I own it, so that for sure it's my point of attraction. And so there is a little bit of justifying and defending going on. There is quite a little bit of, there is an enormous amount of defending, that was funny, going on that isn't necessary. And we want today to help you sort of shake loose, to realize that you get to feel the way you want to feel, and that the conditions don't need to matter. You can feel good unconditionally. And when you do feel good unconditionally, your point of attraction now is not about current conditions, which is the only way anything can change. If your point of attraction is about current conditions, then there's just a regurgitation of what is. So it's different faces, different places, but the same experience over and over again, isn't it? But if you can separate the conditions that are not pleasing you from the vibration that you're emitting, which means you're loving unconditionally, you're having clarity unconditionally, you're finding alignment regardless of the condition. And how are you doing that? Because you understand the laws of the universe, because you understand your point of attraction, because you understand law of attraction, because you understand focus, and most of all, you understand that how you feel really matters. And if you don't feel good, you do something about bringing yourself to a place of feeling better. Which brings us to the most important subject that we will ever talk with anybody about. And that is your path, or the path, your path of least resistance. Your path of least resistance and your path of most allowance are the same thing. For a while we called this gathering the science of deliberate creation. But you got too worried about that. Deliberate creation, the science of deliberate creation. So you'd hear yourself saying something and it would scare you. You try to suck it back before a law of attraction could get hold of it. You became fearful of your own thoughts. And so we began calling it the art of allowing. It is an art, it's a practiced art. The art of allowing myself right here, right now, to be a vibrational match to what I want, even if the conditions aren't showing themselves to me yet. I'm unconditional. I'm practicing the art of vibration about what I want, even though what I want hasn't shown itself to me yet. And when you get that, when you get that you can control your vibrational output, which means you can control what comes back to you. You can control your vibrational output when you are able to consciously separate what is from what you're offering vibrationally. For a long time, we've been saying to you that most of you, we love you so much, most of you offer most of your vibration in response to what you are observing. And that makes you, as a people, feel like you have to control what's going on out there. Because if you see good things, you feel good, and if you see bad things, you feel bad. So let's get rid of all the bad things, even though that's vibrationally not possible. This is a universe based on attraction. There's no exclusion. When you shout no at something, you're actually saying yes to something you don't want. Vibrationally, because there's no yes or no in your vibration, there's just attention to it or not attention to it, you see. So when you understand the laws of the universe, and you understand, and this is the most important piece that you got to get for any of the rest of it to make any sense, you are source energy in this physical body, and the source energy part of you is active and emitting a signal. In other words, your soul is with you all day, every day. That source energy part of you is emitting a signal that law of attraction is responding to. So when life caused you to say, I don't like not having enough money, I want more money, the source part of you began emitting a signal about more money. So every time you notice you don't have enough, since source is noticing that there is plenty, there is a discord within you that you feel in the form of negative emotion. Everything is like that. Your inner being has an opinion about everything that you have an opinion about. And law of attraction is responding to both of those vibrational focal points. And that's what equals your guidance system. So you can tell when you're on point by the way you feel. You feel great. You feel clear-minded. You feel sure-footed. You feel fun, eager, alive, vital. You feel light-hearted and happy. You feel determined and sure-footed. You feel enlivened. You feel empowered. You feel invincible. You feel sure. And if you feel anything less than any of that, that means you're focused upon something that's enough off from who you really are and what you really know to be, that you are introducing resistance, which is the opposite of allowing, into the equation. And so in the moments of those negative feelings, you're not practicing the art of allowing. You're not practicing the path of least resistance. You're practicing the art of resistance and the path of most resistance, you see. So as we sort this out today, it'll be fun. We're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. Nothing is off limits. You will notice a perfect unfolding as we are playing together. And you'll also notice that sometimes someone who's sitting here will represent something that matters to you, and the dialogue that we will have will be just what you're looking for. So whether you actually sit in this seat and visit with us or not, it is our promise to you that we know where you are, we know what you want, we know what you have created vibrationally. We know that the life that you have lived has caused an expansion of you. And we know that the way you feel is about how well you are in any given moment in time, keeping up with that expansion. And so our job here today is to help you get hold of a piece of a thought that softens your resistance and helps you to find the path of least resistance. That's what any friend does for any friend. Amplifies the allowing part of the equation, which means no pointing out problems, no really being a sounding board for problems, just getting as quickly as possible to the point of what you want, and then finding the path for you of least resistance. And that's the most interesting thing about life, isn't it? Your path of least resistance isn't necessarily like anyone else's, and it isn't necessarily like your own was just a minute ago. In other words, the path of least resistance is about from where you are right here, right now, to where you want to be. And where you are right here, right now, changes. For example, let's say that you are employed and you are not happily employed. You don't like going there. You don't like being there. You don't like doing what you have to do while you are there. So it doesn't feel like the path of least resistance for you. So you've come to one of these gatherings and you've heard Abraham say, it's important to follow your path of least resistance, and you say, okay, I don't like being there, so I'm not going to go there anymore. And we say, well, let's talk about this before you turn in your resignation. Let's talk about if it really is the path of least resistance. In other words, we know you don't want to be there. You've just told us that you don't want to be there. But we also know that you have some financial responsibilities and some people that you are tending to, maybe financially. And so just quitting that job, is it really the path of least resistance? And by that we mean, would you feel better or worse by doing that? Well, in a abrupt moment, you might say, better, way better. I'd feel way, way better, way, way better. But you might have quitter's remorse because it really isn't the path of least resistance from where you are right now. Long term it is. Long term, you might say, I'm not always going to be here. That's the path of least resistance. Long term, you might say, this is temporary for me. That's the path of least resistance. But if you say, I'm leaving here today, and you don't have anything else figured out, that's not the path of least resistance. So what happens with so many humans is that they are trying to figure out what behavior is right and what behavior is wrong. And we say, it sort of kind of depends on where you are, doesn't it? In relationship to where you want to be. Aren't there a lot of factors that equal whether this is the path of least resistance or a path of more resistance? And really, can anybody else in the whole wide world tell you what your path of least resistance is? They can't, can they? They don't know what you've been living. They don't know what you've carved out. They don't know what you didn't like and what you did like and what you've created in this vibrational reality, which is where your inner being stands. They don't know what you have vibrationally evolved to, and they don't know where you stand in relationship to it, and they don't really know how you feel, even though you tried to tell them often how you feel. They don't really get it. They've just got their distorted perspective of how you feel. So as you begin taking a poll, what do you think I should do? 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 Then you give up your own guidance system and you lose your ability to sense your own path of least resistance, and then you're just kind of all over the place, making decisions that don't serve you with no long-term, obvious improvement in your life experience. But when you get it, that you've been carving out a very clear perspective of who you are, and that you are supposed to thrive, and you are supposed to feel good, and you are supposed to be happy, and that vibrationally speaking, that non-physical part of you is, and that you've got some habits of thought. You do. That's all a belief is. It's a habit of thought. It's a thought you keep thinking. It's a vibration that you practice. And law of attraction helps you practice it because you've been practicing it. So that's what law of attraction brings back to you, to practice some more. The more you observe, the better you get at practicing what is, and the worse you are at helping things move more to what you want. So you've got beliefs and perspectives about what is that are different from what you want, but are more dominant than what you want. And that's what's got to change. You can't keep looking at things the way you've been looking at them and feeling about them the way you've been feeling about them. If there's anything that we want for you, it's that you leave this gathering with a very clear intent that nothing matters more to you than that you feel good, which means nothing matters more to you than that you are aware, alert to your own guidance system, which means nothing matters more to you than your willingness to find the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance always feels better than the path of more resistance. And there's something that we'd like to say as we get started here. We're not ever going to ask you to find the path of no resistance. And we're not ever going to ask you to be on the path of no resistance forevermore. You came into a physical body because you want to sift and sort. We're talking about the path of lesser resistance. We're talking about using your guidance just to tell whether this thought is beneficial or not. And when you get good at this, you can tell. You can just feel when you're moving towards something that is of benefit to you and others, and when you're not. You have superb guidance because you have a cadre of non-physical energies consciously aware of you. Not just aware of you, but knowing you, knowing who you really are, and holding a vibrational tone, a vibrational beat, a vibrational signal that represents purely who you are. Ooh, that's such a good thing. And because that signal of who you really are is so powerful, and because law of attraction is responding to it in such a powerful, consistent, never-ending, never-yielding way, that creates a calling of you to that. That's what your path feels like. It feels like you going home. It feels like you being whole. It feels like you feeling good. It feels like you getting what you want. It feels like right path, right path, right path. Get the hang of this? So, path of least resistance and guidance system and momentum and law of attraction, all same subject, yes?